You'll need quite a few things. Now I'll just be showing you the things that I'll be using. Of course, if you have something at home that'll work just as well, feel free to use that. These are just things that I've found to be pretty cheap and have given me good results. So if you find something in a different brand or they don't have the same brand, feel free to use something else, whatever you have available for you in store. You'll need some gloves. I get these in a 10-pack at Dollar Tree. Some tweezers that you can also get at Dollar Tree as well for $1. For these, you'll get either or, and you could buy both just to test them both out as well. You can get either these 1-ounce shot glasses that come in a 24-pack, and you'll use 2 of them, or these 2-ounce shot glasses, which come in a 6-pack, and you'll use just one of them. Some paper water cups, or plastic, whatever works. I get these at Dollar Tree. For your canvases, you've got 2 different options. You've got a canvas panel. This is a 5x7, and I get it for about $5 in a 5-pack at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I really like this because you can, personalize it on the back. Sign it, date it, give it a title, your name as the artist, the special paints you used, and all that. That's really cool. And the only thing is, it's really kind of hard to hang this. You've got to put it in basically a 5x7 picture frame. And it could honestly be too thick for that, so that's my only complaint about these. Or you have this option. This is a stretched canvas. It's also a 5x7, and I got this at Dollar Tree. And this one's kind of easier to hang. You can just use like a little thumbtack, and it's got that edge there to be able to hang it. Some craft sticks. This is what you'll use to stir the paint and the Floetrol together. And I would advise you get just the regular plain wood ones. Don't get any colored ones because the dyes can come out when stirring into your colors, and that's not fun. You want to, have the colors that you have and not add in extras that are coming off of the sticks. And I got that at Dollar Tree as well. And then I have here a tablecloth. I got this at Dollar Tree, just something to put down on the table, or if you're doing it on the floor, or you might even want one on the table and the floor, just depending on who's doing it, that sort of thing. Then I have here a little dry rack. I got this at Dollar Tree, and you'll use this to keep the canvas elevated off of the bottom, so when the paint drips it's not just straight sticking. Yeah, so that definitely helps there. And then aluminum foil, that is optional. I use that and fold up the sides and put that underneath this drying rack, so that way it'll catch any paint and I don't have to risk it, while it's drying, dripping off of the tablecloth, off the table, onto the floor, anything like that. I don't have to worry about it. Then I have a torch here. You don't have to use a torch. You can also use a little lighter that has the long stick, usually used for birthday cakes and that kind of thing. And that, of course, that's not something you have to have if there's little children around. It's just a little extra thing that I like to do that helps give me good results with my paintings. For the paint, I use Anita's Acrylic All-Purpose Craft Paint. I really like these. They're about 85 cents at Hobby Lobby for the little 2 fluid ounce bottles. And every 3rd week at Hobby Lobby, they are on sale for 30% off. So that's always really nice to stock up then for me. And I would say for the paints, if you are trying to use a different brand just because that one isn't available, I would not suggest using the Walmart apple barrel paints. There's been lots of people who have had issues with those, causing the paint to crack when it's drying. And so, however your pour comes out, it'll have cracks all along it that were there originally, just because the layers don't dry evenly, which causes the cracks and just doesn't give you as good of results that you could have. So just don't use the apple barrel, especially the white color. That has been a main issue. But any others, I haven't really seen that many issues with. Next, you'll need your Flood Floetrol, and that you can get at any home improvement store. I got this 1 quart bottle for about $7 to $8. And then next to that is the Crystal Clear Enamel Protective Gloss Spray, the brand Rust-Oleum. That's for about $5, also at your home improvement store. And you don't have to get that. That's just if you would like to seal your painting after it's dried. It can help preserve it, and it gives a good gloss look as well. But some people like the matte, just plain how the paint dries is how I want it. So you don't have to buy that. First, we'll need to mix our paints. First, you'll take your paint and you will fill it to about 1/3 of the way full. You're going to be doing a 1-part paint to a 1 part of the Floetrol. And if it helps you, you can definitely make little markings in your cup for about where you need it to be. The colors I'll be using is red, white, and black. And as you can see, I'm using bigger bottles than what I had shown in the supplies because I like to buy the bigger bottles just so I have more to use and I don't have to keep on buying more of the little ones consistently. And the reason I say to do about 1/3 of the way, so that way whenever you add the Floetrol to it, you don't have a full cup. You've got plenty of room to be able to stir it and not worry about spilling it out. Next, we'll take our Floetrol. Also, you want to definitely shake up your Floetrol bottle quite a lot, depending on how long it's been on the shelf. It separates. You'll have like a super clear, I'm not even sure how to explain it really, just it'll separate and it will not give you great results. So always make sure to shake up your Floetrol before using it. And even though the Floetrol is white, it will mix with the paint to be clear, so it'll just be the color of the paint. It won't lighten your colors any. Right, it ran out. Let me get some more. Also, I find it easier just to put the Floetrol inside another cup to pour in. It's a lot easier than trying to use a 1-quart bottle to pour in there. Right, and now you just take your little stick and you're going to stir it. You know that the paint is stirred once it'll fall right off the stick. If it's sticking to it, then you need to stir it a little bit more. And always give a couple extra stirs, just because once you start pouring it in there, you'll start to see on the sides that it wasn't stirred quite as well, and then you'll see like a little bit of the Floetrol still. If you use a white, definitely make sure to stir it a little extra because it's going to be a lot harder to tell with the consistency with this one. Okay, so you're right, I don't know if you guys can kind of see there, but there's like a big clump. If you get any of those, that's what you'll want to use your tweezers for. I call these little paint worms, and they are not fun. So I pull them off, I'm going to put them to the side because I don't want them. Whenever your painting will dry, you might not see it on there. At least like the small ones, you might not notice those on the canvas, and whenever it dries, you'll see it. It'll still be extra thick there while everything else is thin. So getting them out whenever you see them is the best idea. Yeah, once we get the pour done, if you find any on the canvas, grab that tweezer to pull it out. Unless you want them like that, because you might like the little extra texture it gives. It's totally okay. So I finished stirring my paints, and they've got kind of a little thicker than school glue for the consistency. If yours is really thick like corn syrup, you'll want to add some more Floetrol to it to bring that consistency down. You don't want too thick of a paint, which is why you kind of add the Floetrol, is to make it less dense. Now I'm going to be using the 2-ounce shot glass for my pour. And basically you want to put this inside the cup upside down. So if I'm wanting my majority color to be red, which is what I want, I'm going to put it at the bottom. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this and flip it upside down. And so that red being on the bottom of the cup is now at the top. So take that into consideration with this one. Right, since I've got 3 colors, I'm gonna leave plenty of room for all of them. You guys can't quite see. I'm trying to not tilt it too much, but I filled it up about an inch or so inside there, maybe a little less than an inch. And then I'm gonna use the white for the middle color. And you want to gently pour on your second and third color, because you want to try and keep the layers separate. And if you pour it too fast, it'll just mix with the other color you've already poured. So, and I'll be showing you two different techniques. So with this one, you've got just one section of each color. Like I said, I tried to use about the same amount of each. And if it's not it doesn't have to be perfect. With this one, I'm going to be making a bunch of small layers in this one. And this one, it really doesn't matter what order you put them in, because there's going to be so many layers. But again, you want to pour very, very soft, slowly, whenever doing all these multiple layers. And if you get like what just happened here, is some of it got on the sides, that's okay. It's totally not going to matter because of how much paint's going to be in there. That little bit on the side isn't going to hurt the way that it turns out. All right, so as you can kind of see, I don't want to tilt it too much, but it looks like a little parfait there. All right. For our first one, we're going to be using the cup where we just used each color one time with about the same amount, and I'm using the canvas panel for this one. So I explained a little bit of it earlier. So basically with this, we are going to put this canvas with the side you want to paint down, upside down on top of it. And you want to hold it as securely as you can, because you're going to flip it. And so you want it pretty secure because you don't want the paint to seep out. Although if it does, just try and keep it, try to close it as fast as you can. And then I'm going to carefully place it on there. And we're going to let it sit for, about 30 or 45 seconds. You want all the paint to drop to the bottom, but you don't want to lift it up too soon because the paint hasn't had a time to shift. If you do end up, you know, lifting it up early, it's totally okay. You'll get, you know, your result is going to be different. But I always try and give it a little bit of time while that's happening. Okay, it's been about 30 to 45 seconds. I'm gonna slightly move this over just a little bit. Okay, so whenever you lift this up, you wanna do it carefully and kind of slowly. And basically you'll be lifting it up and moving it around the canvas because you wanna spread out the paint. And in the way that you move it around the canvas, it really doesn't matter. You just wanna, you know, get it to the sides. So here we go. Just look carefully and slowly. Let it come out. So I had black on the bottom. I'm going to have a bunch of black coming out at first. And now we're getting some white. A little bit of red in there now. So now what we're going to be doing is, you can do this two ways. You can either grab the corners of the canvas and move it around because now you're going to stretch the paint along the sides, or you can pick up your dry rack and tilt it that way. But I will say with these canvas panels, they can move on it just if you have too much of a tilt on there, so just be careful with that. Okay, and I want to drop it this way. As you can see, I didn't get the corners, but that's totally okay because we can come back. Oh, see, now my canvas is moving. So now I'm gonna pick it up, which is why having gloves is amazing. So that way you're not having to clean paint off your hands. Right, I think I like it just like that. And whenever you set this back on the rack, you want to try to make sure your corners are not on the bars. You want them all to be off of the bars, and especially if you have like that middle one there, try and make sure it's enough on the side. And as you can kind of see right here, I didn't get the sides I didn't get it too well. So what I do is I take one of the stir sticks. So right over there in that corner is black, so I'm going to take the black one and just kind of move it around, move it on over. You totally don't have to. I don't like seeing the little sides not being covered in paint, so. Perfect. All right, so there you go. You've done a pour. Now that that's all done, the next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the second canvas now. So for this one, this is the canvas that's stretched on there, so it's got the thicker sides. Place it on there, and again, watch your corners, trying to keep them off of the bars. So you're going to take your little parfait and you're going to directly pour it on there. I like this method, you know, if you're not so sure about flipping over the cup on the canvas, you know, and the mess with that, or with younger kids, this is good for this. So that way you don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to slowly get it to pour right onto the canvas. I like to go in a little zigzag, because then I'm going to get basically stripes. And with this one, again, you're going to stretch the canvas to get the paint to cover all of the sides. Right. Watch those corners. What's this? I've got lots of sides that have no paint on them, so I'm gonna take the sticks and fix that. Another thing, since these colors actually mixed quite a bit, I should have done my layers a little bit thicker, but you can always scoop up what's fallen because we've got darker colors than what I have in my cups. So if you need those colors, they're right there from what you've tilted off. So there we go. Now we've got both pours done, 2 different techniques. Actually, I'm going to tilt this one a little bit more. I really like what's going on this side, so we're going to bring it out. Sweet. Alright, now I'm taking off my gloves because my gloves are covered in paint. Now I'm taking, now this is where you'll need your torch or the long stick lighter, and we're going to just slightly hover it above the paintings. You don't want to get it too close because that can actually change the design that you've got in there and cause little tiny bubbles. You'll get extra bubbles anyways because this is pulling out air bubbles inside the paint, so you will get some, but if you get the fire too close to it, then it's burning the paint. So we don't really want that. We just want to pull the air that's underneath and the paint to come out now, because if you don't end up doing this, basically you can have craters in your painting while it was drying. Those bubbles will come out, versus right now, getting the bubbles out now isn't going to cause those craters because everything is wet, and it'll all evenly layer out. But while it's drying, it's not going to do that. It's going to make those bubbles into actual craters, which if you like how it looks and you want it to be kind of outer spacey, that totally works with it. If you want that, go for it and do it. So just some little hints there. Okay. Like I said, I don't want the flame too close. I've got about an inch from the flame to the canvas. I pulled out a little bubbles in there. And then this one I think will have quite a bit more, because whenever we flip the cup, that brings in quite a lot of air. And while it's shifting, it happens. All right, we are done. Well, as done as we can be. So now, basically, we let this dry. It'll take about, 1 day to 3 days. It kind of just depends on how thick your paint is on there. With thicker paint, it's going to take longer to dry. With a thinner layer, it'll take less time. So you will have to have this station, kind of set up for a little while it's drying. Also, I didn't mention it in the supplies, but a good thing to use with this is either some Tupperware, a box, shoe box, something like that, to place it on top to cover it. Just, if you have animals, cats that like to jump up on there, cat hair can be a problem, any little dirt speckles, even like gnats and flies, they will ruin paintings, You'll come back to it after you've gone to sleep, wake up, and then there's a little gnat that's just right in the center or on the side, and it's just ruined it. And that part of the painting has already dried too much to be able to pull it out, and it's frustrating. So just trying to help you out there with that. And so that's all I've got for now. We'll come back in a little while, well, in a day or two, and once they're dry, have an update. Alright, you guys, it's been about 72 hours since we last checked, or not since we last checked, but since this was poured. So now let's check on it, and hopefully everything is dry. Alright, everything's looking pretty good. Right. It's dry. This one, as you guys can see, it's just a little bent, but it's not too bad. But it does have some air bubbles in there that I can feel. But really, it's not bad. I really like how this one turned out. Honestly, though, I like this technique a lot more. And I think it would go really well on this type of canvas because you're not going to have those air bubbles on there. But these aren't finished. I mean, you can have them like this dry as they are, but I'm gonna use that gloss acrylic spray and give them an extra finishing touch. Right, so we'll be right back after we do that. Alright, you guys, I'm back. I just put a nice coat of the gloss spray on there. There you go, yeah. And with this, you can kind of see the air bubbles in there, which, I mean, it gives it almost like a 3D effect, so I don't hate it. And let me point out as well on here, this little spot right here, that is what I like to call paint worms. I dislike them, but it almost gives the painting a little extra character. Then on here, I love this little canvas from Dollar Tree. It really turned out really great. Alright, well, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you guys for watching and doing a little art time with me at home. I hope you guys have great results. And if you do, feel free to comment and share your experience. If you have any questions, also feel free to ask those. I'm pretty knowledgeable and can help as much as I can. Thank you for watching, but before you go, I have a short message I'd like to share. Now, I don't have 20/20 vision. I could not have dreamt of what was going to happen this year or what even is still to come. But we will get through this. I believe in myself and I believe in you. And we will move bravely onward. We got this. Have a great day and thanks for watching. Bye.